Morning, everybody. See many of you jumping into the call on our meeting right now. So thanks for joining. Looking forward to a good session today. Going over some concierge exciting things, and of course go over the stats in the market overview. See what's going on this year so far. So shall we start? I can hear Master Coach Fritz over there screaming beyond the door. Okay, thumbs up. Lori, I see on my screen. Thumbs up if you see my screen. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up. 2 times, maybe 1 time. Okay. Jessica, can you see my screen? Shared? Okay, great. Thank you. So let's do this. All right. Halley.
Yeah.
All yours.
Oh, I see the S word. Be stubborn about your goals and flexible about your methods.
Be stubborn about your goals and flexible about your methods. What does it mean to you, Halley?
Really, there are 2 different paths. There are 2 different things about focusing on your goals and realizing that you have to truly be dedicated and know and internalize the outcome, but then also be really open to change and flexibility when it comes to reaching that outcome. So many of us, I think, get stuck in our ways. And even though we have that goal in sight, we're not flexible about our methods to get there. So that's what it really speaks to me, is just having those goals top of mind and, you know, being truly flexible, open, adaptive to really learn about how to get there, how that path that it takes to get to that goal.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it's always good to lead the week, or in our case, you know, the meetings with some kind of phrase or mindset, if you may, right? It's a consistent workout of the brain and the soul. Thanks for sharing. Shout out, congratulations, Taryn. She's somewhere out there. 1-year anniversary with the company, just over 1 year. Taryn, thank you for being you and amazing. And if you can hear us in the back over there, she is the Long Beach Director of Communication, and incredible work, incredible job, amazing team player. Proud to be in business with you. So thank you. Congrats again, Taryn. And we have Denise Marks. I know she's on the call. Stephanie?
Yay, Denise Marks, she capped. So super excited. She's just an amazing woman, professionally and personally, and I'm just so proud of her, 100%. So congratulations, Denise.
Congrats, Denise. And Denise is also growing fast with her team. And thanks for the agent referral. It's going really well so far, by the way. So keep doing a great job, and thank you for your trust in us as well, and amazing relationship. So keep it up, Denise. Congratulations. And David Shemesh just capped. That's fresh from today, actually. Good job, guys. Congrats, David Shemesh.
Congratulations, David.
Calabasas agents as well. Consistent capper year over year. David, good to see you. And hopefully we'll see you in person soon again. Congrats. Good job, David. Top performers. We have Long Beach first on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Carlos Lopez, top of sales. These are our top performers for January 2021. So congratulations to all the names on the list. Maggie Shapiro for top listing for individual agent. Michelle Harding, top sales for individual agent. Edward Knighton, he's our rising star. Congratulations, Edward. I know you're working really hard on your business. Congratulations to the Shannon Jones team for top group listing and sales. Same thing with the Allison Van Wig and Associates, the top group listings for January. Jason DeFald and Scott Baker, top team listing and sales, and Amanda Yu, who's also the top sales for the individual agent. Congratulations on your dedicated to your business, and keep having a great year. I know many of you are working really hard.
Congrats, guys. I know I saw the Jones team on the call, and Amanda, maybe others join as well since I last checked. So congrats, guys. Good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it up. Good job. And on the West Side office, we have top performers, David Yashar and associates, keep conquering the commercial part of that side of town. On the luxury side, residential, Lena, Mona, Meny, Eliza, congrats guys, good job, keep it up, keep pushing. We're gonna see more and more names because this office is keep growing fast. Part of you guys, keep it up. In the Calabasas side?
On the Calabasas side, our #1 performers for January 2021, we have Ashley Rogers. It's awesome. David Abbas Group, you know, all these people are so on fire right now. It's super exciting. Team Selleck, Philip Terry, and Eddie Mizrahi with Boulevard Advisors. So congratulations to you guys. What a way to kick off 2021.
Congrats,
Great
guys.
job.
Good job. Congrats, everybody. Shout out on your success, and thank you for the team at each office for also making those individuals social media images, and give those guys shout out and promotion. So thank you to the staff as well. Welcome to our offices on West Side. We had joined this month so far Mitra, David Lloyd and his group, Julia, Brandon, Oran. We have a few more coming on board this month. So welcome, welcome. Good to have you. Welcome to the team. Calabasas.
Calabasas, we have Ariel Malka, we have Rachel Labor, and Marcia Garcia. So super excited for all of them, and welcome, welcome. We welcome you with open arms and excited for your journey with us.
Yeah, welcome back, Rachel. Good to have you back, part of the team as well. In the coastal office.
Yeah, welcome to new agents, Jay Armbrisher. Oh, Jay, Jonathan. Sorry, I butchered your last name. And then Walter Schroeder, both really, really dedicated, good agents that are ready to grow. And I'm excited that you chose us here to help you with that path. So congratulations to everybody.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah, thank you. Good to be in business with you. And up next, we have Rich, our broker of record. Rich, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think I have some slides, Meny. There should be.
And there you go.
There you go. All right. So I've gotten a couple of questions lately about buyers' letters, and the new form that we have to for buyers and sellers, the Fair Housing and Discrimination Advisory, addresses buyer letters, buyer love letters is what they call them. And I wanted to point a couple of things out, examples of conduct that may not be motivated by discriminatory intent, but could have a discriminatory effect. Prior to acceptance of offer, asking for or offering buyer personal information or letters from the buyer, especially with photos. These types of documents may inadvertently reveal or be perceived as revealing protected status information, thereby increasing the risk of actual or unconscious bias, potential legal claims against sellers and others by prospective buyers where offers were rejected. Another example is refusing to rent an upper level unit to an elderly tenant out of concern for the tenant's ability to navigate the stairs. It's not intentional discrimination, but it could be perceived. So examples of unlawful or improper conduct based on a protected class or characteristic: refusing to negotiate for a sale, rental, or financing, or otherwise make a housing opportunity unavailable, failing to present offers due to a person's protected class. Now, we're talking federal protected classes. The state has many more classes. Refusing or failing to show, rent, sell, or finance housing, channeling or steering a prospective buyer or tenant away from a particular area. Blockbusting or causing panic selling by inducing a listing, sale, or rental based on the grounds of loss of value of property, increased crime, or decline in school quality. Next slide. So let's talk about the buyer's letters. Advice for listing agents: discuss the pitfalls of receiving buyer's letters with the seller, potential intentional or unintentional bias. Have a written agreement with the seller on how to handle such a situation, either to return the offer with a letter that not reviewed if it cannot be separated from the offer, or not accepting letters. Disclose this in the MLS. No written agreement. Advise sellers of the pitfalls. Advise to use objective standards. Broker may not wish to work with a seller who doesn't agree to exclude such letters due to brokerage exposure to liability. That's a really extreme case. If you have a seller who says, oh, I don't want to sell or rent to a particular group of people that are on the protected class, you may not want to work with this this seller because of the potential liability. Okay, so advice for buyer's agents: advise buyers not why it's not desirable. It may lead the seller's intentional or unintentional bias against the buyer. It may exclude other prospective buyers from equal opportunity or access. The offer, including the letter, may be returned unread. Do not, I repeat, do not assist in drafting these letters. I was sent a letter the other day by an agent on behalf of her buyer, and immediately it came out, my client, a single mother with a child. It's like, that is so blatantly, you're telling them it's a divorce situation. You know, there could be some potential biased. So I don't recommend you sending that letter. I think there's another slide.
Yeah, but one question, Ray. So
Sure.
that. So if you do get those kind of letters, right, as a listing agent, how do you respond to that? What's the proper way to respond to this?
Well, the proper way is, first, you would have had a conversation with your seller. That's a good point, Meny, because I had a listing agent contact me and who said, yeah, I got somebody sent me a letter, and I sent a response saying my seller is not accepting these letters due to, you know, the fair housing. And I said, oh, that's great, as long as you've had the conversation with your seller. And she actually didn't have the conversation with her seller. So you have to have those we can't make decisions for our buyers and sellers. We just can advise, and they tell us what to do. Now, as long as it's not criminal, then we have to abide by our sellers and buyers wishes. So in that case, either you've already had a conversation with your seller about these letters, and they've told you in writing, I don't want to look at these letters because of the potential liability, or you haven't. If you haven't, then you explain to the seller prior to giving them that here's what the problem is with these letters. Mr. Seller, what do you want to do? Do you want to read these letters or not? But I'm telling you, this is potential liability for yourself. And if they, at that time, instruct you that they don't want to read them, then you send the offer back if it can't be separated, and tell them to send it back without the letter attached.
Now, okay, so you had this discussion, and the seller say, you know what? Okay, I understand. You know, the rules, the law, fair housing, but you know, when I bought my house, I did the letters, and it actually helped me to get the offer. I'm okay to see those letters. Do you recommend to maybe send some kind of email to confirm, hey, Mrs. Seller, just as we discussed, blah, 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 or what's the best way to go, just to cover?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. Always do things in writing, that you have a paper trail in writing, that you were instructed, hey, to confirm our conversation, I explained to you the pitfalls of buyer's letters and the liability to yourself should you have an unintentional bias of choosing a buyer based on the letter, but you have instructed me that you still want to see the letters, and that's all you need to do. You've made that paper trail.
Got it.
Great. So practice tips: ask a tenant, buyer, client for objectives, selection criteria for property, location, features, price range. Those are the only things that should be avoid subjective descriptions of neighborhoods. You know, code words in lieu of race reference, or urban, safe, nice. Don't use those terminologies. Use objective info for reliable third party regarding neighborhoods, like if there's a governmental entity that does a crime report, use that as a reference, or as for school reference. Don't be the expert on these. People should not be relying on you for this information. So share the same information, the neighborhood information, with everybody. Everybody you're screening gets the same information. Don't impose your own judgment, obviously. And I think that was the last slide. I do want to mention a couple of other things. CAR coming on April 1st. The Prop 19 is going into effect. That's the tax portability, and CAR has a great question and answer thing. I put the link in the chat, so check that out. And also, I'm getting a lot of calls and questions about Zillow buying showing time. Here's the deal. You don't have to use showing time, and that's fine. And your listing, that is fine. But please, please, please be careful on your comments in social media. Please do not say to other agents, don't use it. That's called restraint of trade. So your opinions about showing time and Zillow are your opinions, and you don't have to use it. But do not jump on the bandwagon with all these agents who are bad mouthing Zillow about their purchase of showing time. It can cause a huge liability for you. That's it.
Thanks for the note. And excuse me, this is actually the last slide. Rich, not sure if you want to point out.
I did have it. Advise seller and landlord to use blind selection, meaning that the only facts that they need is the credit worthiness and all that. And once again, the terms and the conditions are across the board the same. Review your advertising. Be conscious of conscious and unconscious implicit bias. Ignorance of the law or following instructions from the seller or owner or client is not a defense. Just remember that, and turn mistakes into learning opportunities.
And then, Rich, if you don't mind, just there's one comment over there in the chat. I don't think it's there. You need to do anything of that nature. The question was like, if I'm the listing agent, I did get some love letters or what have you, and the seller is okay to read those. Should I tell everybody, hey, by the way, you need to send those in, others did send, or it's okay to send them in? Or just
I don't know if I would encourage it. I think if whoever wants to send them in, hey, look, I've used love letters in the past, and it has worked to my advantage. I get it. It's just that we're in a different world right now, and for so many reasons, and just be cautious out there.
Yeah, Rich, thank you so much. And if there are more questions, Rich can address them by throughout the meetings, or etc. You can also always reach Rich. Okay, let's keep on moving and see what's next. Next, we have Ayla with our KW Concierge. Ayla, can you hear us?
Oh, good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. Good morning.
I will do a brief screen share and go through some details of the KW Concierge program, and we can just jump right in.
Perfect. Let me make you a co-host, which I'm gonna give you the option to share. There we go.
Sweet. All right, great. So KW Concierge is powered by us here at Zoom Casa. It's a company I work for. We are sort of the engine behind the program or the platform. And so for some time, this concierge program has been rolled out, but the market has since evolved and changed quite a bit. And so through those just market trends and changes, we've identified some new needs to address with KW Concierge, and thus the program has been updated to reflect that. So prior to some of these updates that we'll talk about, the KW Concierge program was really specifically a seller-facing service. So it was a tool through which your seller clients could defer the cost of pre-sale prep, like staging and painting and so on. They could defer that cost to close and pay at close, which then enabled you as agents to compete with other programs that exist in the space, right? But since the market has changed, as I've mentioned, this program has been adapted to include bridge financing, a buy before you sell tool, as well as senior services. And for buyers, home customization, or for folks that are moving and whether they're buying or selling or neither or both, right? Providing moving concierge to simplify that process. Of course, buyers, may think they can do this on their own. They can find a home that they love. But if you introduce to them a tool through which, when they work with you, you can employ designers and professional vetted vendors to assess the home they're purchasing and help customize it, well, that's, of course, providing value that they wouldn't necessarily get on their own. And as well with folks that are moving, of course, in a time like this where we're in like a virtual world and there's Zoom calls and distance learning and just all sorts of things and new variables that have come into play, right? Moving has become even more complex than it was. And so by introducing a moving concierge to simplify that and just make that experience more seamless for your clients, again, that's introducing value to them that otherwise they wouldn't have received. So really common theme, of course, with the concierge program is to help you deliver more value than otherwise, right? Help to offset the cost of their working with you by all the powerful value that you introduce to them through their partnership with you. Because that's really what we want to do, as you all being full service agents and us being your partner in providing that service. So what I'll touch on as kind of a service to highlight is specifically our buy before you sell solution. And it's really critical to note that this is a tool designed to solve the problem that a lot of you, I presume, are facing given the low inventory, right? And many buyers looking for a home and less sellers than buyers, right? So folks that are sellers and also buyers are in a unique situation where they may know their home is going to sell quickly, it's going to sell over asking, but it may take them a while to find a home to buy. And that creates a unique conflict that they then have to face. And so by introducing a buy before you sell tool that enables them to purchase a home and unlock some of their equity to do so, you're introducing a solution to that problem. Now, our buy before you sell service enables a client to unlock up to 75 and in some cases 80% of the home value, enabling them to qualify for conventional financing or write a cash offer if they're, downsizing perhaps on a purchase, right? So they can avoid contingent offers. That's one of the huge components, the value add, avoiding contingent offers and avoiding living through renovations or showings, as well as avoiding some of the interim expenses associated with owning a home. And there's no credit application nor interest expense or monthly payments associated with the buy before you sell service. And the net cost is typically 1 to 2% of the value of the home. Now, it's really important to note that when I say net cost, I'm talking about the cost sale. About it, and what I'll say now is our cost to do the service is 3 to 5%. However, when I say net cost, I'm referring to the fact that if you're introducing this service to a seller, and by going through this process, they can write a non-contingent offer that gets accepted, perhaps with better terms. Perhaps it's a cash offer, depending on, again, if they're downsizing. They can realize more cost savings on their interest rate if they get a lower interest mortgage based on timing. And in that interim, they can prep their prior home for sale and ensure that it gets sold for highest and best, because we will front the cost of staging, painting, or any improvements needed to ensure their home sells for top dollar. There are a number of factors that then offset our costs of 3 to 5%. Perhaps they get a 10% premium on their sale, thus offsetting our cost. And as well, they avoid their interim mortgage payment. They avoid the cost of a double move. They avoid the cost of a contingent offer. There's a number of cost savings that a client may realize by going through this process and avoiding the conflict they would face if they were a seller and a buyer at the same time. So, of course, there's a ton of details and variables and just complexities involved with a service like this, as I imagine you all have clients that may have a need for this with radically different situations. So the biggest takeaway here is that when and if you're interested in this service, through the Concierge program, you will now be able to book instantly a one-on-one meeting with a member of our team to discuss exactly how it works, and even loop in a client to discuss the service as well. So you don't have to remember, of course, everything I just said and pitch it to a client. You can connect with us following today's call, book a meeting and say, hey, I heard about this service, and talk about it more specifically with more details. And as well, there will be an exclusive calculator accessible to those of you that enroll in the program that enables you to create real-time examples of this program. So it'll be a calculator that you can use and even embed on your website if you'd like to use as like a lead gen form. And it's a calculator that enables you to plug in some numbers and talk to your client about the service from an educated place and with this resource. So a number of solutions to kind of help make this a tool that you can use. And I mentioned Concierge Plus agents in my prior slide. And the reason I do is because the Concierge service has now been segmented to really help serve you all specifically. Some of you may want access to the buy before you sell service and may want to partner with us as your concierge partner more closely. Whereas some of you maybe loved the pre-sale home prep for what it was and are okay with using the service to that degree still. Depending on to whatever degree you want us to be involved in your business, you can enroll in the concierge service and get access to the program accordingly. So like I said, if you're interested in just the pre-sale home prep, and you want to enroll in that, there's no cost to do so, and you get access to a dashboard where you can submit listings and contact us at any time. But if you are interested in some of the other services I highlighted, and there were quite a few, right, with senior services, buyer services, buy before you sell, and so on. If you're interested in some of those more involved solutions, we will make an investment in your business and assign a rep to partner with you and really sit with you, someone you can call at any time to discuss these different services and discuss how they might be integrated into your business and help your clients. And the cost to that is typically $249 a year, but that cost has been subsidized by your brokerage as we've partnered with KW Forward Living to roll this out. And so you can get access to that at no cost as well. You will just enroll online and get access to one-on-one meetings with our team. And then again, an assigned rep to help support the integration of these services into your business and make this a successful tool for you. And as well on the right-hand side, you can see a Concierge Pro level to the service. Of course, that's an option. Ultimately, this will be probably valuable to those of you that do a lot of the pre-sale home prep services with your clients, because if you're a Concierge Pro subscriber, we cover the cost of any listing photos or video on projects that exceed $15,000 in pre-sale home prep work. So if you have clients that do staging and painting and want to defer that cost to close, if you're a Concierge Pro member and that cost exceeds $15,000, we will cover the cost of photo and video. Ultimately, after a handful of projects with free photo and video, the subscription will pay for itself. Again, it just depends what kind of a business you do and if that's something that you think would make sense and be relevant to you. So there's multiple options depending on, again, to what degree you want access to the service and which services specifically you are most interested in. And I'll talk briefly about the actual mechanics of enrolling. We do have a landing page for KW Concierge at zoomcasa.com/KW Concierge. You'll go to this page and you'll be able to select the tier you want. If you want to opt in at that $249 level at no cost, the code to do so will be relaunch, and we can distribute this information once we wrap up today. But when you visit the page and enter the code, the cost will be comped completely. So you can then access the dashboard, book a one-on-one meeting with a rep, talk about buy before you sell, talk about a client that has an immediate need, really whatever you want. You can get in touch with us as immediately as possible following your enrollment. And to talk briefly about the dashboard, when you log in, you'll have resources at the click of a button at any time you need them. So again, you enroll, you can log in, schedule trainings, here where it says success, access marketing, here where it says marketing, and all of this marketing will loop you back to your forward living marketing team. So it's really centralized, and your team has spent a lot of time making sure that there are assets available to you that will be impactful and help you educate your clients on these services. There's also, of course, the project submission, self-explanatory. This is where you submit projects. For those of you who have used the service before, the channels through which you submit projects has changed. So this will be where you do so. And then as well, for buy before you sell, you can select this tile and a calendar will pop up and you can instantly book a meeting to discuss that service specifically. So again, really trying to make this as simple and accessible as possible. Upon your enrollment in the service, you get access to the dashboard using your login credentials that you create and access to us really at any time that you need it. So we're really excited about these updates to the program. I presume there's a number of questions, so maybe we can chat through some of those questions, but I do want to emphasize the fact that this is not your last chance to get questions answered. Of course, we're here for you. So upon your enrollment in the service, you'll get training and anything else you could possibly need, but a brief Q&A I think would serve us well. So maybe we can hop into that.
Awesome, Anna. Good presentation, to the point. Thank you. A few things to mention. First of all, I did add the link and the code on the chat on the Zoom. So give it a shot. And when you go to the website, you're going to have 3 plans. Ala was talking the Concierge Plus, right? The most popular one. That's the one that you're going to put the code. There's on the side promo code. You're not going to pay $249. You're just going to put the code. It's going to be for our group at no cost, access to all of that. I really like where this is going, Ayla, by the way, because you really, as a company, first of all, whoever is watching, our Concierge, this service is way more advanced than all the other companies in any aspect, just name it. Accessibility, availability, liability, all the T at the end, right? Just name it. And also creativity. I'm not joking, it's all the T. But that's just what it is. And it's all, a lot of it also thanks to you guys because you came up with those demands and need, etc. And our friends in Zoom Casa, aka KW Concierge, came up and built all those platforms for us, right? So take advantage of it. That's number one. Number two, as you can see on the screen, the marketing tab over there still being built by our marketing, Ford marketing, Joey Feldman and the group. And you're going to have a lot of custom designed pieces or what have you that you can just click and choose, and it's going to put you in touch with them directly, whatever you want to customize, right? One thing I do want to touch for a second, once again, Ayla, is the buy before you sell, right? Can you just repeat that? Give us an example, because it will place your buyers in a very, buyers, sellers, if you may, right? Or sellers, first of all, buyers in a very competitive edge, and give us more of a depth example. And I'm guessing, did you guys already implement that program?
Yeah, so we've had a ton of success with this program, and I can actually speak specifically about a few clients that we've worked with that have found a great value in this service. The key here is considering what kind of situation you put a client in when you take them out of being a contingent buyer, right? Because being a contingent buyer in this market is obviously not the best situation to be in. Your offer is likely to be overlooked as a buyer that's contingent, considering the low inventory and the amount of buyers out there. But as a seller, it's sort of the inverse, right? Your home's going to get sold quickly. A buyer will buy it regardless of if it's updated or not, right? So there's a lot of, there's a conflict there that we've identified. And so what we've done is worked with a number of clients that found a need for this service. And by unlocking, for example, on $1 million home, $750,000 that a client can then use to go qualify for conventional financing and write a non-contingent offer on a home that they're purchasing, that's of course super valuable. And to talk really specifically about how it works, what happens is a client will have a conversation with us and you as their agent about this service, and we'll introduce to them, how it works and so on. And if they're interested in it, we'll actually order an appraisal. We'll have an appraiser visit their home and appraise the home, and we will purchase their home for up to 75 or 80% of the appraised value. So to make it really clear, we purchased the home for 75% of the appraised value as the first leg of the transaction. Now there's 2 legs of the transaction as a whole, but in the first leg, we purchased the home, making them now a non-contingent buyer to purchase a new one, right? We now own their home. Any debts against their property have been taken care of. They're out from under their current mortgage and their current home, and they're now a non-contingent buyer, perhaps even a cash buyer. In one situation, we actually helped a client become a cash buyer, and they got into a home that they were purchasing at a radically lower price than any of the financed offers a seller had seen. So our seller, who was also a buyer, saved about $30,000 on their purchase, and we helped them sell their prior home as fast as possible for top dollar. Because the second leg of the transaction is our relisting of the home with you as their agent, following any home prep that was needed. So if they needed staging, if they needed painting, we facilitated that. We fronted the cost. The home was relisted. It was sold perhaps 10, 20% over asking right now that it's all freshened up at no cost to the seller upfront. And so when it's sold, the client receives another check in the mail. At this point, they're likely living in their new home that they hopefully got at a great price, right? They receive a second check in the mail for the rest of their proceeds, minus our 3 to 5% fee and minus your full commission paid out of the closing of the second sale. So again, 2 legs of the transaction, one to give them 75% up to 80% so that they can go be a non-contingent buyer. And then the second leg to sell their home for highest and best. And we are in an uptrend. So in many cases, that month interim period really helps them realize even more net proceeds.
Right.
The home is resold and they receive a second check while living in their new home with higher proceeds than they would have otherwise.
Here's a question for you. And by the way, if you guys didn't follow Ila, I'm going to send you the recordings afterwards. Listen to this over and over again, because this is very powerful offering to your clientele. Another question for you. Listen to this. So let's say I have a client, a seller, that the house is not maybe the best condition, right? Not like turnkey, just basic, maybe paint and staging. Needs a bit more renovation, etc. We had a few agents very successfully utilizing the KW Concierge and netting to the clients a lot of money consistently. So I can actually utilize that, right, after offering that to my seller, that they can, like figure of speech, basically flip the property if that's the case. Not in that sense, but they can utilize the buy before you sell. They are going to go and buy a new place, and you guys putting all the expenses, etc., in the house. And when you resell the house, right, they're actually going to get way more money if they would just sell it as is.
Exactly.
Without getting all the liability and the cost to hire a contractor or vendors or any of that.
Have to work monitoring who shows up when, monitoring when the work is done. They get their money, they can go make a move and do what they need to do, and know that our team, our incentives are aligned. We don't get paid our fee until the home sells either, right? So we want to make sure that the home sells as quickly as possible, and it's sold effectively and efficiently, and that any improvements are made really make an impact. So in the interim period, we spend our time exerting any resources like professional designers and vendors in managing that process so that home is relisted and sold. It's sold for maximum price, and the client is happy and everyone's happy. You as their agent, of course, are happy as well.
Who's the listing agent in the resale of the house?
Great question. So the listing agent is the agent who introduces them to the service in the first place. So
Right.
you spend your time winning the listing initially, and maybe you introduce the service, and then you book a meeting with us. We will explain all of this to them. We'll go through the numbers really specifically and on a screen share so they can see everything broken down by price. There's no gotchas. There's no, oh, by the way, it's all broken down. Full transparency as to what the costs are and how it will work. And we'll compare it with them to a traditional sale so they can really make a decision as to what's best for them. And then once they're ready to move forward, we begin the process, and you as the agent who initiated the process will be their listing agent on that resale of their home.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty much no-brainer. There's a question over here about some kind of amount or what have you. I don't know if you want to answer that, but you can reach out to Ayla, if you don't mind, just maybe put some on the chat, the best way to contact the program or you, etc. But I mean, I guess it's not about the upfront. It's just a matter of like the equity in the house. This is a very specific program.
Yeah.
If you look in, maybe like in one last sentence, because we have to keep moving, Ayla. But for example, talk about the traditional KW concierge. Agent called you or went to the platform, and the seller needs some kind of improvements or preparation to the sale of the house, so maybe like partial like flip as we call it, right? Based on comps. How much money do you put in the house? How do you measure that?
So that's a great question, and to talk specifically, I see the question asks if we can front up to 15,000. There's no limit, so it's not a matter of up to, it's a matter of what the equity is in the property and what the needs of the client are. We have, 6-figure renovation projects going. We also have a lot of folks that want to spend, $2,000 on staging, right? It really depends on the client's desires and the home's needs, and we will make that assessment. So if you submit the property to us specifically for pre-sale home prep, not necessarily for buy before you sell, our design team will get in touch with you and have a conversation about what your needs are. We'll talk about, we'll assess the home and help you come to the best conclusion about scope if you need us to. And then at that point, based on the scope, we will facilitate the bidding process, and you and your client will receive a bid at no cost and with no obligation. So at this point, it's a free service for your client. And they look at the proposal, they say, oh, great, I need staging, I need painting, I don't really want to do, flooring, whatever it is, they choose. And regardless of the cost, we will facilitate those improvements and move forward. Upon your initial submission, we do assess the equity in the home. So once you submit the project, we'll assess and ensure there's equity in the home. If a client is in bankruptcy or foreclosure, this program would not be accessible to them, but otherwise we're in the business of making it work for your client. So we'll help to assess whatever scope of work is necessary with no limitations other than the equity available.
Yeah.
Meny,
Yeah.
a quick question. So this works for if you even have a current listing, correct? So you have a current listing, your client is writing offers to get their replacement property. It's not coming through because they're writing contingent. This still comes into place, correct?
Exactly. So for the buy before you sell, if you have a current listing, you can initiate a conversation with us and we'll explain this option to your client and they can choose how they'd like to proceed.
I mean, what a great way instead of going into these cancellations, when you're getting frustrated like this is a great solution to offer your clients before they cancel.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen this really, really help out a ton of clients in that exact situation. So we're super excited to work with you. I'll definitely leave a ton of contact information in the chat for those of you that will have questions for us and want to talk with us more.
yeah, question over there, yes. And also, often we have guests on those calls, so you can reach out. However, they're going to validate who you are. You can only be part of our Forward Living group of offices to get the service, of course. Okay. I'm not sure about that. Do you want to ask this or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you purchase the property at 75% of the
Hold on. Can you hear him, Layla?
Yeah, I think I can.
Okay, yes.
so you're gonna purchase the property at 75% of the appraised value. What happens to the other 2 or 3 listings I have in the market that are currently on the market?
Good
and
question.
all of a sudden, one sells
Under
less.
Yeah, great question. So for the purposes of recording, the home records at full appraised value. So our purchase records at 100% of the appraised value, but there's an addendum, there's a rider to that purchase agreement that says that you as a seller are deferring 25 plus or minus % of your equity to our resale of the home so that it doesn't mess up comps. It sounds like that's what you're referring to.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no
Good.
problem.
Excellent question.
Good question, right?
So you guys actually using the rider through title because you actually, it's not a full recording. So that's the go around it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up all the comps.
He knows what he's asking. All right, I like good stuff. I appreciate it. We're definitely going to have more sessions with you guys and share more. So good job and looking forward to, keep doing great things together. Thank you, Anna. Good job. Thank you. If you have questions, once again, she put her information on the chat. Stephen, thank you for a great question as well. We can connect later as well. Let's go to the broker metrics and talk to our affiliates and see what's going on out there. Quick overview. First, start with Long Beach. See what's going on with the for sale versus sold. January of last month compared to January 2020, that was still the good old days before the COVIDs and the pandemics. Am I right? Yeah, right. Oh, time flies. Look at the for sale, the inventory. This last month dropped 20% compared to January 2020. However, the numbers of the sold and those that went into escrow during the month of January went up by about 15% in average. Okay, 15% in average. That's for the Long Beach area. Still, big decrease in inventory. When it comes to average price, average sold price, almost about the same, went up by about 3.6%, which is the average, appreciation, but annually. So the last month, January through January, 684 compared to 660 last year. And the average price of the active listings went up by about 2%. Not a big change over there for the month of January. Days on market, another good stats to know all the time as you go. Currently, the average days on market dropped by 42%. 42% in Long Beach, median price. It's 22 days as of January. I don't know even what it means, right? It's just, I don't know if this city ever saw like 22 days average. Leroy, do you remember any of that in the past? Those kind of 20 days, 22 days? He's thinking about it. But this is unheard of for sure. I definitely want to get the listings. I'll just say that, right? It's gonna go before it's gonna hit the ground. West side, bit of a higher price point, as you can see. There's an increase over there. We're more encouraging. The last second half of the year, 2020, was a bit rough on that part of town. We see increase in all the aspects for sale, sold and pended on the west side. And then the average price currently, slight drop over there on the active listing price. Right now, it's just over 1 mil. That's a 10 mil. I apologize. That's the average sale price over there, dropped by almost 4%, and the average sold price dropped by 24% in the month of January. Currently is about 4 million. That's the average sales price in the west side. Days on market, we keep seeing them dropping, but as you can see over here, increase in January by almost 28%. Now it's 115 days. 150 days compared to January 2020, which was 90 days. We saw shorter months the last couple of meetings as well over there. So that was that's a spike over there, as you can see. The last few months kind of spiked over there for sure. Calabasas for sale versus sold inventory. As you can see, there is a drop of almost 30% in the inventory in that part of town, both Calabasas and the cities around it, nearby. And these sold in pendant jumped by, well, this is a big different numbers, 22%, 23% almost sold inventory compared to January of last year, and went into escrow 62% more homes last month compared to 2020. The average average sales price went up by 55% on the active inventory. Right now is 3.8 mil, and the average sold price went up by just over 12%. Currently is 1.135 mil compared to last year. Lastly, the days on market, big drop over there, 34%, almost 35% almost. Now it's 34 days on market, which is once again pretty fast for that kind of a price point. This part of town, not like Long Beach, but pretty fast as well. So that's what we have. That's what we see. And let's talk to our affiliates, not by any specific order. Let's start with the lenders first to see what you guys are hearing, seeing, feeling. What's going on out there? Lenders, go first. All yours.
Hey everybody, Alex here, NAL Financial. I am the lender in the Coastal Properties office down in in Long Beach, excuse me. And a lot going on in the interest rate market. For about the last 2 weeks, we've seen a pretty decent increase in interest rates across all of the different loan programs. Interest rates are really tied to bad news, good news in the economy. And obviously, as more of the vaccine rollout has happened, that means more good news, more potential good news for the economy. So rates are going up. We're seeing conventional rates up closer to 3% today, instead of the 2.5 to 2.75 stuff we saw earlier in January and throughout the latter part of last year. That's what I'm seeing. That KW Concierge program is really, that sounds awesome. They're doing that a lot up in the Bay Area, I know of. I don't see it as much down here, but the sell before you buy, the whole program of eliminating the contingent offer. I've done a couple presentations on different loan options to do that as well. So if you need to see that through either cash out or different other style of loan options, so keep me in mind there. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is something that comes up a lot with agents in Long Beach, and it's on the listing side. I want to make sure that listing agents understand that the loan programs that are out there require only 5% down with a loan amount of $822 or below through Orange County and LA. So if you get a low appraisal, which again is happening a lot right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the buyer needs to make up the difference. And I'm going to touch on that on my class on March 18th. But keep that in mind, that it's not a one-for-one dollar that the buyer needs to make up the difference. So if you're looking to accept 5, 10, 15% down offers, don't be super afraid on a potential low appraisal, because there's alternatives that lenders can do to still keep the deal in play and make it work. That's all I got.
Good stuff, Alex. And one note to make, by the way, because I've been asking in the past as well. We have zero ownership with the concierge, zero, nothing. The reason is when we studied it, we learned, one of the things that we've learned is that all those companies that try to build their own and try to make it their own, it never succeeded. And the liability was too greater on their side, on the agent side. We have zero ownership or interest in the program, it's 100% for you guys to use, to utilize, to leverage for your success, FYI. So thank you. Jojo.
Okay. Are we on? Just to jump on Alex was saying, the standard usage rates are up. Average national is about 3.12.
If you can come closer to the mic because we can barely hear you.
How about I stand up? How's that sound?
Please stand up.
So hot off the press from Old Republic's notepad from Jessica. Rates are up 3.1 for the 30, like Alex was saying. 15 years up 2.57, about 3/8 higher than it used to be a month ago. Interestingly enough, mortgage applications have slowed down as compared to last year, but it's not because of purchases. It was because the refi seemed to be losing some steam because as rates bump up, opportunities for refis decline. So that's the biggest part. Dow is up 318 points this morning, so that's also pressing on the rates. But the February is coming to be the worst month for rates for the year so far. The 50 basis points cost to refi is still in play. So if your clients are still refinancing, there's that 50 basis points cost that Freddie and Fannie have attached to it. They haven't removed it. There was an article I read last week. Turns out they didn't even need that 50 basis points. They were doing that because of anticipation of foreclosures and servicing problems with the forbearance coming in, which brings me to the fourth item today. Risk of forbearance, foreclosures due to forbearance may not materialize. And here's the reason. So unemployment is down. Current forbearance loans are going down or flattening. And then the still large home equity positions of most home buyers is protecting them from foreclosure. So that may not materialize. And then lastly, today, or a couple items today, believe it or not, last week I got news from one of our lenders, 585 scores for FHA is back. I'm flipped over. I thought I'd never see those days again. It's back, 580, 600. There's some stipulations behind it, but that opens the doors to those clients. While during COVID, when it was 660, 680 for FHA, couldn't get a loan. So today, keep that in mind. The DACA loans are available now, and the down payment assistance loan programs is making a raging fire comeback. I'm seeing different 3 to 4 variations of it. So that's something that your buyers are looking for, first-time home buyer. That's the keyword they keep asking about. It really points to the down payment assistance program. And both Alex and I have those programs available. Give us a call. And then some good news. So California stimulus check, $600 coming your way, it looks like. 1,400 federal stimulus checks coming your way, it looks like. 2,000 for closing costs. No, I'm just kidding. And then last hint, safety hint for the day. April 15, 2020 taxes are going to be filed, right? So if you have buyers currently in play or in qualification for a loan with Alex or I, make sure that you put that conversation in play for the filing of their tax returns, because it may or may not make a difference if they're either buying or applying or in process for a loan. So just have those conversations. I'm personally asking if they're about to file, hey, can I see a copy of that prior to filing? Because in case that thing comes up, you never know. Just a safety hint. All right. Have a good day.
Good job, guys. Thanks, Alex and Jojo. Mindy, MyNHD, what do you have?
Wait, here we go. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, you muted again. We can't hear you, Mindy. Unmute yourself. You're too quick. Mindy, there we go.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good
Thank you, Meny, and everybody. Great meeting so far. I just want to remind everybody that the Assembly Bill 38, which is the very high fire versus very high fire severity zone, is really important. So when you get your listing, don't forget that all you need to call us, email us, go online, order your NHD report early. You need to know if you're in this very high fire severity zone, because if you are and the house is built before 2010, then it is the seller's responsibility to provide the home hardening disclosure advisory form. And you don't want to wait till you get into escrow. So you don't need any money up front to get the report. We are in compliance. MyNHD has been doing local disclosures since 1998. This is not new for us. This is just a new law that is making sure, since it's a non-regulated industry, that all the companies hopefully are using local maps, because it's the local map that supersedes state and county. And you might see on the signature form of the NHD report, no, the state says you're not in a high fire zone, but the local map says you are. So our summary sheet, which is the second page, will identify, yes, you're still in a very high fire zone because it's the local map that says you are. So we're circling it. We're writing AB 38 so nobody misses it. We also put it into the body of the report. So we're putting it in like 3 or 4 different places because people don't read very well. And we don't want you guys to miss it since it's very, very important. And you want to make sure that your client can get fire insurance, you know, immediately, so that you don't go all the way through escrow and get at the end and go, oh man, it fell out because the insurance is over $100,000. So we're here to keep you safe and protected. We've never had any issues on our report since 1998. And we take care of everything if, God forbid, there's a problem. So I'm here to be of service. Thank you so much for your support. And I put my information in the contact as well so that I'm available all the time.
Good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always good information. Thanks,
Thank
Mindy.
you.
Lori Ramsey with Clearmark Title. What do you have for us? Lori, can you hear us? Can you unmute yourself, Lori? Okay, we're gonna we'll come back to you, Jessica.
Nope, I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Meny, thank you. I'm Lori Ramsey from Clearmark Title. It is my 1-minute title tip for Wednesday. I'm often asked, how many policies do you offer? What is the difference between them? So just wanted to give you a couple. We have one, the owner's policy, and that protects the homeowner until they either sell the property or refi. Then we have the lender's policy, and that protects the lender until, of course, you sell or refi. And thirdly, we have a construction policy, which a lot of companies do not have. We have it, and my title team is very, very good at it. So if you have some investors and they want to know if you have a company that does construction loans policies, we do. Thank you so much. I put my info into the feed, and everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Lori with the Clearmark Title. Jessica Wood next. All Republic, Home Warranty.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to your meeting. So nice to see you all. Just a reminder that we are in the process of launching our new brochures that includes new home warranty pricing. So these are coming to an office near you. If you're not going into the office currently, please feel free to go online, orhp.com. Our pricing is really easy to access. I'm also going to put links to our new brochures, PDF links in the chat box. So please save those, hang on to them. You can store them in your phone. If you're writing up a contract, you're not sure how much to write, you can always text me, call me, email me. I welcome that, of course. But if you just want to save copies of these on your phone, you will have access to the PDFs. I did teach a Zoom class yesterday. I believe that's still in the Forward Living Facebook. So in there, I walk through our online toolbox, how to access pricing, how to get a quote. So that should still be in the Forward Living Facebook group, I believe. So please check that out if you're interested. Reach out to me, of course, if you have any questions about coverage, pricing. I'm always here for all your home warranty questions and really, really appreciate your business.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. Always a great value. Thanks for sharing. And just to sum up the meeting, a couple of things over here. Class today, Rich Pisani, 4 p.m., correct? Anything specific you're going to go over?
Listing agreement.
That's always exciting. We need that, right?
Thrilling.
Okay, so definitely 4 p.m. It's gonna be a packed class with Rich. 5 p.m. we have Jojo. Another good session over there. Jojo, are you guys going over credit repair?
Yes. All
Okay.
about credit repair, how to get your clients, especially clients that are credit hindered in the beginning, fixing them up and getting them ready for the purchase.
Got it. Very cool. All right, that's definitely a good session too. So buckle up, 4 to 6 later this afternoon. Stephanie?
Yep.
It says don't miss it. I'm looking at you.
Oh, miss it. Woo, woo. Jeff, our KW Regional Tech Director, is in play on Thursday, the 25th at 10:30 to 11:30. So please, it's going to be Zoom, right? And it's going to be interactive. So you're able to ask him questions and really get the full effect of from the Master Tech Director. So make sure you're there.
Yeah, awesome. That's with Jeff Reyes tomorrow. Halley?
International referrals. So our own special Janet Darrow, who works internationally as well.
Janet.
Woot, woot. Yeah, Janet. So she's going to be teaching a class this Thursday at 9:30 a.m. talking about how to give referrals internationally, as well as build those relationships with those agents as the countries are starting to open up. It's something that we're seeing a trend right now within clients, and you can literally send them in anywhere. Israel, Belize, Mexico. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to capture that business. So don't miss it. March 4th at 9:30 a.m.
Next Thursday. Looking forward to it. And then, thanks, Halley. Janet is actually big on the international relationships. So she's going to do a series of those classes, and she's going to bring guests from KW's overseas to participate in those sessions. So definitely don't miss out. That's a big one, big one.
It'll be the first Thursday of every month.
Say again?
The first Thursday of every month, and this month, March, will be Greece.
First Thursday of every month. Good to know. First Thursday of every month. Perfect. Janet, thank you so much. Thanks, Deborah. And they added this article over here, KW top 10% of total market share in 2020. As you probably saw, heard, got the email, what have you, from this guy on the picture, Gary Keller, the man himself. They also a change of leadership in KW. They changed the president from Josh Team, who was a great leader within the company, focusing on tech and that part of the company's development systems, etc. To Mr. King, who's now the new president. He was actually the
team leader.
Yeah,
I started as a team leader.
Yeah, started TL, and then he was focusing on the growth, coaching growth within KW, and it'll be very exciting to see him take this company to the next step together with Gary. We'll see what 2021 is gonna bring. With that, thanks everybody. Thanks for your patience. We went over time just a little bit. Appreciate you, all the affiliates, Rich, Concierge. Thanks everybody. Have a productive Wednesday, and stay healthy and stay busy. Thanks everybody. Take care.
Good meeting, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Back to reggae.